John Adams, one of America's founding fathers, wrote those words in his book called Thoughts on Government. And in this book, he was arguing for the legislative branch as we know it today. He didn't want a legislative branch where every single citizen had to come to Washington, D.C. to vote. And he had seen plenty of other governments in just his 40 short years of life fail because they didn't have a strong legislative branch. So, in this book, he argued for a House and a Senate in the legislative branch. And he got his way because that's exactly what we have today. Speaking of today we are here in one of my favorite cities, Washington, D.C. And it's not just my favorite because President Lincoln walked these streets. It's my favorite because Washington, D.C. houses our United States government, the preserver of our freedoms, the keeper of our democracy. On today's adventure, we're going to focus on the legislative branch, which works in the building right behind me. Their number one main job is to make laws. Now you might be thinking, so I need to talk to them to get a law made banning homework? And while yes, those are the people you need to talk to, I'm almost positive that Marco Rubio will probably agree with Ms. Burzek and not ban homework. The fancy building behind us has two sides. One side houses the Senate, and the other side houses the House of Representatives. The people who are elected by their citizens to serve in the Senate are called senators, and they serve 6-year terms and represent the entire state. There are a total of 2 per each state, which means there are 100 senators working in the Senate. Florida's 2 senators are Bill Nelson and Marco Rubio. On the other side is the House of Representatives. The citizens who are elected to serve in this side of the legislative branch are called representatives, and they serve 2-year terms and represent a much smaller district from their state. The theory behind this is since they're representing a much smaller district with a smaller amount of people, approximately 700,000 per each district, that they'll know more about what the individual citizens want. They'll be more in touch with the people, and they'll know what to argue for and work for in the legislative branch. And even though every single person in that district is going to have a differing view on how government should work, representatives do their best to take all 700,000 ideas and combine them to work best for their constituents or the people they represent. With all these jobs, representatives and senators end up leading very busy lives. And even though they live very busy lives, they always find time to meet with their constituents or the voters. Those are the people who have the true power. If we don't like something the legislative branch is doing, we have the most power of all, our vote. Let's venture inside and figure out more about this awesome branch of government. And who knows, we might even have a special guest visit.